The cosmos stretched out like an endless tapestry of darkness and scattered starlight, a realm where the vast emptiness whispered secrets of forgotten worlds. The year, humanity's reach had extended to the outer fringes of the Orion Arm, where stars were born in brilliant bursts and where silence spoke of both hope and peril. Here, on the border of known space, the warship Hellfire sliced through the void, a solitary guardian against the encroaching chaos. Aboard the Hellfire, the corridors hummed with the quiet intensity of duty. Captain Helena Vega stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the shimmering starfield displayed on the central viewport. The intricate network of control panels bathed her in a pale, electronic glow, reflecting off the hard lines of her determined face. Each light and flicker on the screen told a story, a series of data points that mapped out the frontier, a constant reminder of the precarious balance between order and anarchy in these uncharted territories. Helena's mind drifted back to the countless hours spent in the command center, reviewing tactical briefings and analyzing enemy patterns. Every star in the vast darkness represented not only a distant sun, but also the potential for conflict or salvation. The border was a place where legends were born, where the faint pulse of ancient signals hinted at mysteries yet to be unraveled. She had seen what lay beyond, strange, shimmering anomalies, and echoes of alien presences that defied human understanding. And now, as the Hellfire advanced into the unknown, those very echoes stirred with renewed urgency. The bridge crew moved with a quiet precision, each officer attuned to their role in this cosmic dance. There was the soft murmur of conversations, a blend of cautious optimism and the steely resolve of those who knew that every moment could bring an unforeseen threat. The ambient hum of the ship's engines provided a steady counterpoint to the rapid exchange of technical commands and situational updates. Yet amid the routine, Captain Vega sensed a current of tension that ran deeper than the immediate calculations of trajectory and fuel reserves. Her eyes, reflecting the boundless cosmos, held the weight of past battles and personal losses, a tapestry of memories that fueled her relentless drive. Vega's spirit was both a shield and a sword, a fierce, compassionate warrior prepared to sacrifice everything for the sake of her crew and the survival of humanity. The ghosts of previous confrontations whispered in the quiet recesses of her mind, each one a testament to the sacrifices that had brought her to this moment on the edge of Orion. Outside the viewport, the stars sparkled like shards of shattered dreams and potential futures. It was here, in this liminal space where the known met the unknown, that the Hellfire carved its solitary path. Every pulse of light, every distant glow, was a reminder that humanity was both fragile and unyielding, a fragile spark in the darkness, yet one that burned with the fire of determination. As Captain Vega took a final, steadying breath, she issued the silent command that resonated through the ship: advance into the uncharted. The Hellfire surged forward, its engines roaring a promise of defiance against the abyss. In that moment, on the edge of Orion, the boundaries of human hope and fear melded into a single, unbreakable resolve, a resolve that would guide them into the heart of the unknown. A sudden shudder ran through the Hellfire as an unexpected transmission crackled over the ship's communication array, a sound like a distant, desperate cry echoing through the cold silence of space. The bridge fell into a hushed tension as the message repeated itself, each iteration carrying the unmistakable weight of urgency and impending doom. Captain Vega's eyes narrowed, focusing on the holographic display that now pulsed with red warnings and cryptic coordinates. "All stations, report," she commanded, her voice slicing through the quiet hum of the bridge. The usual rhythm of controlled efficiency gave way to a palpable sense of alarm. Officers exchanged anxious glances as data streamed in: anomalous energy readings, erratic navigation logs, and a stark, unyielding message: a remote colony was under siege. In the ship's central communications bay, Lieutenant Moreno worked feverishly to decode the garbled transmission. "Captain, the distress call originates from the fringes of the Talon cluster. The signal is weak, but its intent is clear. A plea for help, echoing through the void," he reported, his tone edged with a mix of technical precision and underlying worry. Vega absorbed the information, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders like an unyielding mantle. The colony, a speck of light on the map of human expansion, was isolated and vulnerable, a target that might easily be forgotten in the vast theater of interstellar conflict. Yet this plea, so raw and unfiltered, bore the unmistakable signature of an imminent threat. Set a course for the Talon cluster. I want every sensor engaged. We move out immediately, she ordered, her voice a blend of resolve and silent determination. The crew sprang into action, their hands flying over interfaces as the Hellfire's engines roared to life, propelling the vessel toward the unknown with an almost predatory grace. Outside, the stars seemed to blink in anticipation as the ship surged forward. The distance to the Talon cluster compressed into an accelerating horizon, drawing them ever closer to the scene of distress. Within the command center, the atmosphere was electric with urgency, a symphony of beeping instruments, hushed commands, and the underlying pulse of dread that accompanies the unknown. As the Hellfire navigated through a labyrinth of asteroid fields and shimmering nebulae, Captain Vega retreated momentarily to her private quarters. There, amidst the dim glow of navigational charts and fading memories of battles past, she allowed herself a fleeting moment of introspection. The distress signal was more than just a call for rescue. It was a harbinger of chaos, a sign that the fragile peace humanity had fought so hard to preserve was now unraveling at its seams. Returning to the bridge with renewed resolve, Vega addressed her assembled crew. This is more than a routine rescue. We stand as the last line of defense against forces that seek to dismantle everything we've built. Every life aboard that colony matters, and I promise you, we will not let the void claim another home. Her words, imbued with both command and compassion, kindled a renewed fire in the hearts of her officers, setting the stage for the battle that loomed on the horizon. The transmission, its echoes still resonating through the ship's corridors, left no room for doubt. The distress call was a clarion warning, a call to arms that could not be ignored. And as the Hellfire hurtled deeper into the darkness, its crew steeled themselves for the inevitable confrontation with an enemy shrouded in mystery and menace. The vast, cold expanse of space bore silent witness to the rising storm of conflict. In the quiet aftermath of the distress call, as the Hellfire sailed steadily through the cosmic night, a somber mood settled over the command deck. Captain Helena Vega found herself alone in her private quarters, a small, sparsely furnished cabin adorned with mementos from a past steeped in both valor and sorrow. Flickering holographic images of old battles, faded medals, and personal photographs whispered the story of a life devoted to duty and sacrifice. As she sat before a holographic console, the gentle hum of the ship's systems merged with the murmur of her recollections. A memory emerged, a flash of a long-ago day when the weight of command first pressed upon her shoulders. She recalled the chaos of her inaugural battle, the palpable fear that gripped her crew, and the bittersweet taste of both triumph and loss. In that moment, young Vega had learned that leadership was forged in the crucible of hardship and that every decision carried an irreversible cost. The memory dissolved into another, a quiet night on a distant colony where laughter and hope had mingled with the soft glow of twilight. There was her sister, whose bright smile once lit the darkest corners of her heart, now forever a casualty of the relentless tide of conflict. The juxtaposition of joy and pain, of love and sacrifice, served as a constant reminder that every star in the void harbored its own story, its own struggle for survival. Back on the bridge, the ripple of these recollections seemed to echo among the crew. Whispers of doubt and grief, once hidden behind steely professionalism, began to surface in the hushed corridors of the Hellfire. Lieutenant Moreno, his eyes reflecting a similar melancholy, exchanged quiet, knowing looks with other officers. The ghosts of their pasts, lost comrades, shattered dreams, and the haunting specter of what-ifs, tugged at the seams of their resolve. Captain Vega rose from her seat, her silhouette framed by the panoramic window that looked out onto a sea of indifferent stars. With deliberate steps, she walked the length of the corridor, each footfall a measured cadence against the backdrop of the ship's heartbeat. Her presence, both commanding and compassionate, was a silent promise to every soul aboard the vessel that they would face the encroaching darkness together, no matter the personal cost. In a moment of rare vulnerability, she gathered her senior officers in the quiet conference room. The room was dimly lit, the only illumination coming from the soft glow of distant galaxies visible through the wide windows. "We all carry shadows," Vega began, her voice a blend of authority and empathy. "Our pasts may be filled with pain, but they also give us strength. Each loss has taught us the true price of peace, and every sacrifice has forged us into the warriors we are today." Her words, imbued with the weight of her own history, resonated deeply, softening hardened hearts and unifying the disparate fragments of their collective memory. As the conversation unfolded, the officers shared their personal stories, whispered fragments of lives altered irrevocably by war. In that shared moment of vulnerability, the Hellfire transformed from a cold, mechanical vessel into a sanctuary where human frailty and resilience coexisted. The room filled with silent nods and quiet understanding, as each soul recognized that their burdens, though heavy, could be shouldered together. Outside, the stars continued their eternal vigil, indifferent to the human drama unfolding within the ship. Yet, beneath the vast, impassive cosmos, a quiet determination was rekindled. For Captain Vega and her crew, the shadows of the past were not merely reminders of loss. They were the building blocks of a future forged in unity and resolve. As the Hellfire pressed onward through the interstellar darkness, the ghosts of yesterday became the silent architects of tomorrow, guiding them with the luminous echoes of hope and remembrance. The Hellfire plunged deeper into the uncharted darkness as sensors honed in on the source of the distress call. The vastness of space seemed to conspire with the unknown, each moment drawing the ship ever closer to a secret that threatened to shatter the fragile veil of human security. In the ship's strategic planning room, holographic maps and spectral images danced in a ghostly array, casting eerie reflections on the determined faces of Captain Vega's senior staff. Lieutenant Moreno's fingers raced over his console, piecing together fragments of data that painted a picture both ominous and surreal. "Captain, I'm picking up readings that defy our standard classifications: high-energy emissions, unstable gravitic fields, and something else, something artificial," he said, his voice tight with a mix of excitement and foreboding. His words hung in the air like an incantation, each syllable a herald of the perils lurking in the cosmic dark. Vega's gaze sharpened as she absorbed the implications. "Prepare a reconnaissance team," she ordered, her tone leaving no room for debate. "I want every sensor primed for anomaly detection. We need to know what we're facing before we commit to a full-scale engagement." The command was met with swift efficiency as the crew set into motion, each member aware that the mission ahead might well redefine the boundaries of human conflict. As the Hellfire approached the coordinates, the star-speckled void began to yield unsettling secrets. An immense structure emerged from the cosmic darkness, a sprawling lattice of alien architecture, its edges pulsating with a ghostly luminescence. The structure defied conventional design, a monstrous amalgamation of angular forms and swirling energy fields that spoke of technologies far beyond human understanding. It loomed like a dark beacon, its presence both mesmerizing and menacing. Aboard a shuttlecraft deployed from the Hellfire, a small team led by Vega herself descended toward the alien construct. The shuttle's descent was a precarious dance against gravity wells and turbulent energy surges that rippled around the structure like cosmic shockwaves. Through the viewport, Vega saw the scale of the edifice, a monument of unfathomable engineering, its vast corridors hinting at a power capable of unmaking worlds. Inside the heart of the alien installation, every step resonated with a chilling precision. The reconnaissance team moved in tight formation, their every move echoing in the silent vastness. The walls, composed of a material that shimmered with an inner light, bore intricate patterns and symbols that defied immediate comprehension. Vega's eyes traced these enigmatic carvings, each one a testament to a civilization that had harnessed forces of mass annihilation. A sudden surge of data from Moreno's portable scanner crackled over the comlink. "Captain, you need to see this," he urged, his voice trembling with a mix of awe and alarm. Projected before them was a schematic of an alien device, an engine of devastation, capable of harnessing and channeling energies that could obliterate entire planetary systems. The magnitude of the discovery sent a ripple of shock through the team, each member silently grappling with the revelation that the enemy they faced was far more advanced and far more dangerous than anyone had dared imagine. In the dim light of the alien corridors, Captain Vega's mind raced. The implications were staggering. This was not a mere outpost or a stranded relic of a bygone era. It was a weapon, a looming threat that could bring untold destruction to humanity. The walls seemed to whisper secrets of forgotten wars and unspeakable power, urging her to retreat even as her instincts pressed her onward. Gather all available data, Vega commanded over the comm link, her voice a steady anchor amid the rising tide of uncertainty. I want every piece of information we can extract, every pattern, every anomaly. We must understand what we are up against. Her words, though laced with urgency, carried the calm of a seasoned commander who had faced the abyss before and emerged with the knowledge to confront it. As the team continued its meticulous survey of the alien structure, the weight of the discovery settled heavily upon them. Every scan, every measured pulse of energy, reinforced a stark truth. They were in the presence of an ancient, unyielding force, one whose capabilities extended beyond the realm of human comprehension. The alien technology, so beautifully terrifying in its complexity, was a harbinger of a conflict that would push the boundaries of survival and redefine the meaning of war. Emerging from the recesses of the structure with data cores and encrypted logs, the team made its way back to the shuttlecraft. Outside, the endless void beckoned with silent menace as the shuttle ascended toward the waiting Hellfire. Captain Vega's heart pounded with a blend of dread and determination. The alien edifice, a monument to a civilization that had mastered the destructive forces of the cosmos, was a grim reminder that the path ahead was fraught with peril. In that moment, as the shuttle re-entered the ship's docking bay, Vega understood that they had crossed a threshold. The Hellfire and its crew were no longer merely defenders of isolated colonies. They had become the vanguard of a struggle against an enemy whose shadow stretched across the very fabric of space. The journey into the abyss had revealed not only the enemy's terrifying capabilities, but also the stark, immutable truth. The fate of humanity hung in the balance. Back aboard the Hellfire, the air thrummed with an undercurrent of apprehension and possibility. The alien structure had left them with more questions than answers, and as the encrypted data began to yield its secrets, a different kind of battle emerged. One fought with words, subtle signals, and clandestine alliances rather than brute force. In the war room, Captain Vega convened an urgent meeting with her senior officers. The room, illuminated by the soft glow of holographic displays, pulsed with streams of alien schematics and intercepted communications. Vega's eyes, steeled by the revelations of their descent into the abyss, scanned the assembled faces with quiet determination. "Lieutenant Moreno," she began, "the data we retrieved indicates that within the alien edifice there exists not only a weapon but evidence of dissent. I believe there are factions within their ranks, groups who question the supreme authority of Overlord Xyrath." Her voice was measured, yet imbued with the urgency of the moment. Moreno, his brow furrowed in concentration, replied, "Captain, we've intercepted fragmented transmissions hinting at internal disputes. There are calls for negotiations, whispers of rebellion against an overbearing regime. This could be the opening we need, if we can isolate and engage with the defectors." A murmur of cautious optimism rippled through the room. Vega leaned forward, her fingers steepled as she contemplated the precarious balance of trust and treachery that lay ahead. "Prepare a secure channel for contact. I want to reach out to any alien voices that oppose Xyrath's iron-fisted rule. We must consider every option, not only our military might, but the power of dialogue and alliance." Meanwhile, deep within the ship's communication center, Specialist Jalen worked tirelessly to decode the garbled signals. Lines of alien text, interspersed with digital static, slowly coalesced into a message that hinted at shared grievances and the desire for peace. His voice, low and measured, relayed the breakthrough to the assembled team. "Captain, I've isolated a transmission that appears to be a call for a ceasefire from within the alien ranks. It's fragmented, but it speaks of a desire to end the endless cycle of violence. The revelation sent a palpable shock through the room. Captain Vega's gaze hardened, then softened, as she weighed the moral and strategic implications of the potential alliance. We extend an olive branch, but with our eyes wide open, she declared. I will personally initiate the contact. We have nothing to gain by igniting more chaos, but this is an opportunity to weaken Xyritha's grip from within. In a secluded communications bay, shielded from prying sensors and prying eyes, Captain Vega began her delicate negotiation. Her voice, modulated to convey both authority and empathy, resonated in the sterile quiet of the chamber. This is Captain Helena Vega of the human warship Hellfire. I speak not as an enemy, but as a fellow traveler caught in the crossfire of tyranny. If you seek an end to this conflict, speak your terms. For a moment, silence reigned, a silence that stretched into the vast emptiness between stars. Then, a soft, measured response crackled through the secure line. Captain Vega, your words reach us through the veil of war. We are those who reject the endless bloodshed. We have seen too much loss. Our hearts yearn for peace, even as our hands tremble at the prospect of betrayal. Meet us at the neutral zone near the Nebula of Whispers. There, we will decide our future. The line went quiet, leaving behind the echo of a promise and the weight of an uncertain future. Captain Vega exhaled slowly, the lines of worry softening on her face as she absorbed the significance of the communication. The unseen enemy had revealed a fissure in its own foundation, an opportunity to change the course of what might otherwise be a relentless war. As she rejoined her officers, the tone of the room shifted from anxious anticipation to focused resolve. We have a chance, however slim, to dismantle the enemy from within, she told them. But we must tread carefully. One misstep, one false move, and the fragile trust we build could shatter, plunging us into deeper conflict. Prepare the diplomatic team for an immediate rendezvous in the Nebula of Whispers. Every precaution must be taken. The corridors of the Hellfire buzzed with renewed energy as the ship adjusted its course toward the neutral zone, a space where light and shadow converged, and where the possibility of peace flickered like a fragile star. The battle was evolving from one of raw power to a chess game of hearts and minds, where words might hold more sway than weapons, and where the unseen enemy's internal discord could be the key to humanity's survival. In the midst of strategic recalibrations and whispered hopes of reconciliation, the crew of the Hellfire prepared to embark on a mission that defied conventional warfare. In the delicate balance of trust and suspicion, every heartbeat, every whispered word, carried the potential to reshape the destiny of the cosmos. The line between friend and foe blurred as the warship sailed into the nebulous future, guided by the resolve of those who dared to believe in the possibility of peace. The Hellfire shuddered as it entered the battlefield, a vast expanse of cosmic tumult where light and darkness collided in a maelstrom of explosive energy. In the void, where stars fought to shine through the chaos, Overlord Xyritha's flagship emerged like a phantom, its dark silhouette wreathed in pulsating, alien power. The two colossal vessels, symbols of clashing ideologies, now faced off in a silent ballet of impending doom. Captain Vega stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the enemy's looming presence. The bridge buzzed with tension as alarms blared and tactical displays lit up with rapid-fire data. Engage defensive maneuvers, she ordered, her voice resolute yet calm, even as the weight of destiny pressed upon her. Every crew member braced for the impact of an encounter that would determine the fate of countless worlds. The void erupted into a symphony of battle as the Hellfire launched its assault. Energy bolts, shimmering with the fury of human innovation, streaked through space like comet tails. In return, Xyritha's flagship retaliated with beams of otherworldly force that seared through the darkness, each burst a stark reminder of an enemy's ruthless efficiency. The clash of technologies was accompanied by the high-pitched whine of systems straining against the ferocity of conflict. In the midst of this cosmic fray, a secure channel crackled to life. Overlord Xyritha's voice, modulated to sound both otherworldly and commanding, broke the roar of combat. Captain Vega, Your defiance is admirable yet futile. You dare challenge the inevitable decree of my command." His words, laden with cold conviction, reverberated across the void, as if they were etched into the very fabric of space. Vega's response was equally measured, her tone a blend of steel and compassion. "Overlord Xyrath, every life under my protection is a beacon against your tyranny. We fight not for conquest, but for survival, for hope, a hope that your relentless aggression seeks to extinguish." The words hung in the charged silence that followed, punctuating the battle with the weight of conviction and the promise of unyielding resistance. As the two leaders exchanged their verbal duels, their vessels circled each other in a deadly dance. The Hellfire executed daring evasive maneuvers, its crew coordinating with precision honed by years of hardship. Each pilot moved as though guided by the very pulse of destiny, steering the warship through a gauntlet of lethal energy blasts and collapsing shields. The sheer brilliance of the explosion illuminated fragments of space, revealing brief, stark images of determination etched onto every face on board. Amid the chaos, a critical moment unfolded. A stray missile, fired in the heat of battle, skidded perilously close to the flagship of Overlord Xyrath. In that split second, Vega's voice rang clear through the tumult. "All units, focus fire. Channel every ounce of strength into this moment." The order sparked a renewed surge of energy, and the Hellfire's weapons converged in a concentrated barrage that lit up the enemy vessel in a cascade of crimson and white. Xyrath's response was swift and calculated. "Your resolve is commendable, Captain, but it is not enough." A powerful countermeasure activated, a shimmering barrier of alien energy that absorbed the incoming onslaught and reflected it back with a vengeance. The shockwave rippled through space, rattling the Hellfire's hull and testing the metal of every soul aboard. In the heart of this inferno, Captain Vega and Overlord Xyrath found themselves locked in an ideological confrontation as profound as it was physical. Their dialogue, interspersed with the cacophony of battle, revealed not only tactical stratagems but the raw, personal stakes of their conflict. "I fight for every life that trembles in the shadow of oppression," Vega declared, her eyes fierce with conviction. "Your might is built on the despair of countless souls. Today, that power falters before the unity of hope." A tense pause followed, as if the cosmos itself awaited Xyrath's retort. His voice, now tinged with a rare hint of uncertainty, replied, "Hope is a fragile construct, Captain, easily shattered by the weight of reality. But perhaps, in this moment, our fates are intertwined, destined to clash until one vision prevails." The exchange of words, powerful and laden with fate, was mirrored by the escalating fury of battle. Each vessel became a microcosm of its leader's belief, a bastion of resistance against an overwhelming tide. The Hellfire surged forward with renewed resolve, its every maneuver a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity, while the alien behemoth countered with the relentless precision of a force steeped in its own enigmatic destiny. In that cataclysmic crucible of stars and fire, the clash of fates reached its zenith. The battlefield vibrated with the echoes of distant detonations and the palpable tension of hearts unyielding in the face of obliteration. As Captain Vega's hands danced over the controls, charting a course through the chaos, she knew that every decision in these precious moments could tilt the scales of destiny. And as the two colossal ships circled, locked in a duel of wills and ideologies, the cosmic dance continued, a symphony of defiance and despair, heralding a future whose outcome hung in the balance. In the aftermath of the cosmic clash, the Hellfire drifted through a field of debris, a ghostly reminder of the battle that had seared its mark across the stars. The once vibrant hum of combat had faded into an eerie silence punctuated only by the steady thrum of the ship's damaged engines. Every surface bore the scars of conflict, and every corner whispered the sorrows of fallen comrades. The bridge was somber, its officers gathered around flickering displays that chronicled the unfolding tragedy. Lieutenant Moreno's normally steady hands trembled as he reviewed the casualty reports. "Captain, we've sustained significant damage, and morale is low. We've lost several key units today," he murmured, his voice heavy with the weight of loss. Captain Vega, though battle-worn and weary, exuded a quiet resilience. She stood before a panoramic viewport that framed the vast, star-studded void, an indifferent witness to the human cost of war. Her eyes, clouded by grief yet ignited by determination, surveyed the silent testament of the struggle. "Every scar we bear is a reminder of why we fight," she declared softly, her voice a blend of sorrow and resolve that resonated deeply with her crew. In the dim corridors of the Hellfire, the toll of battle manifested in hushed conversations and shared moments of reflective solitude. In the mess hall, a small group of officers gathered around a makeshift memorial, a collection of personal mementos, photos, and tokens left behind by those who had perished. Their whispered reminiscences were as much a eulogy as they were a testament to the unbreakable bonds forged in the crucible of conflict. Later, in a quiet conference room bathed in the soft luminescence of distant galaxies, Captain Vega convened a meeting with her senior officers. The mood was one of somber introspection as they grappled with the duality of victory and loss. "We stand here, amidst the echoes of war," Vega began, her voice resonating with the gravity of their shared experience. "Today, we witnessed not just the ferocity of our enemy, but the undeniable cost of our resistance. Our fallen are not mere statistics. They were the heart and soul of our mission, each life a beacon that lit our path through darkness." Her words, heavy with emotion, invited an outpouring of shared grief and determination. One officer, his voice raw with emotion, recalled, "I still see their faces, the ones who gave everything. We owe it to them to carry on, to transform this sorrow into strength." The exchange of memories and the collective mourning knit the crew together, reminding them that even in the devastation of war, the spirit of humanity could endure. Amid the reflective dialogue, tactical concerns began to surface. Reports from the repair teams indicated that the Hellfire's critical systems were slowly coming back online, a testament to the crew's ingenuity and perseverance. "We must not allow this loss to become a harbinger of defeat," Vega asserted, her tone steely yet compassionate. "We rebuild, we learn, and we honor the sacrifices of our comrades by ensuring that their legacy endures in every choice we make." Outside, the cosmic vista remained unchanging, a silent expanse that both dwarfed and embraced the frailty of human endeavor. The debris fields, remnants of explosive encounters and shattered alliances, drifted in the void like the scattered memories of a violent storm. Yet within the heart of the Hellfire, a fragile determination was taking root. Every officer, every soul aboard, was now acutely aware that the echoes of war would forever shape their path, molding them into warriors who bore both the weight of loss and the hope for a renewed future. As the Hellfire steadied its course and began the slow process of recovery, Captain Vega lingered for a moment in the solitude of her private quarters. She stared out at the endless night, her thoughts a tapestry of regret and resolve. In that quiet, reflective pause, the full measure of their journey, of battle, sacrifice, and resilience, revealed itself. The echoes of war were not a dirge of defeat, but a clarion call to forge ahead, to rise anew from the ashes of despair, and to honor every fallen life with the promise of a future where hope might yet triumph over darkness. As the Hellfire limped away from the battlefield, the tumult of war began to yield to a tentative stillness. In the wake of devastation and loss, a new day, fragile and uncertain, was slowly breaking over the horizon of human existence. The ship's corridors, once echoing with the clamor of conflict, now hummed with the subdued rhythms of repair and reflection. Crew members moved with deliberate care, their steps measured as if each carried the weight of a hard-won lesson. On the bridge, Captain Vega gazed at the expanse beyond the viewport. The stars, steadfast in their silent vigil, cast gentle light upon the remnants of the day's fury. Though the scars of battle were fresh, there was a dawning realization that this moment, this fragile dawn, offered an opportunity to rebuild not just the vessel, but the very spirit of humanity. Her eyes, still shimmering with resolve despite the toll of loss, met those of her officers, conveying without words that hope, however tentative, was on the horizon. In the aftermath, discussions turned from the raw mechanics of war to the philosophical underpinnings of survival and reconciliation. A council of senior officers gathered in the conference chamber, where soft luminescence from distant nebulae bathed the room in a spectral glow. Here, amid the solemnity of shared memories and aspirations, the crew deliberated the future of their mission. "We have seen the worst of what this conflict can bring," one officer said quietly. "But let this dawn remind us that there is still beauty in resilience, still a promise in every sunrise." Captain Vega listened, her heart heavy with the memories of fallen comrades, yet buoyed by the collective determination to honor their sacrifices. "Today, we choose to carry forward not the bitterness of defeat, but the lessons of our past," she declared, her voice imbued with the calm authority of someone who has weathered the fiercest storms. "We will rebuild our defenses, mend our wounds, and, most importantly, forge a path toward lasting peace. This fragile dawn is our chance to redefine the future." Outside the ship, the vast cosmos held its breath as if acknowledging the pivotal moment unfolding within the Hellfire. The earlier chaos was giving way to a quiet resolve, where every repaired system, every thoughtful word, was a step toward a broader, more enduring hope. Even in the silent void, the delicate interplay of light and shadow suggested that every end bore the seed of a new beginning. As the day unfolded, small acts of renewal began to stitch together the torn fabric of the crew's morale. Engineers and technicians worked side by side, not just to restore the damaged vessel, but to rebuild the faith that had nearly been lost. In the mess hall, over shared meals and muted laughter, stories of valor and remembrance intermingled with plans for a future unmarred by unending war. Every conversation, every exchange of hopeful glances, reinforced the unspoken commitment to honor the past while daring to envision a more harmonious tomorrow. In a final, quiet moment before the Hellfire resumed its course, Captain Vega stood at the edge of the observation deck. She allowed herself a rare moment of introspection, watching as the first rays of the fragile dawn gently broke through the vast darkness. It was a scene both solemn and beautiful, a reminder that even after the fiercest night, the light of hope endures, however faintly, in the heart of the cosmos. With a resolute heart and the silent promise of a new beginning guiding her, Captain Vega turned back toward the ship. The crew was ready to embrace the dawn of a future where peace, though fragile, was within reach. In that transformative moment, amid the tender glow of the early light, the journey of the Hellfire and its crew reached its poignant conclusion, a testament to the enduring power of hope, unity, and the relentless human spirit.